my favorite cities to travel to. But then following up after that, November 9th and 10th, and a remote dual Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series. And then following up December 7th and 8th, YCS Anaheim, California. I love hometown events. I love having the events in Anaheim.
Words out of my mouth.
You never really see a YCS in December, so this should be really exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited about all those upcoming events. If you were watching at home and wanting to be part of the action, go to Yu-Gi-Oh!-card.com, go to events, and always keep checking to see if there's going to be one near you, or feel free to come out and travel. We also have regionals that you're not going to want to miss. They start right away next weekend. We're already starting our first, invites giving out this weekend with that awesome Fiendsmith Engraver game mat as well. We're going to be right back with our final round of Swiss before we cut to the top 64, and eventually we're going to determine our final 4 duelists. We're going to join Jose and Ruben in representing North America at the World Championship in Seattle. Stay tuned. We got plenty of Yu-Gi-Oh! To come.
And welcome back to the WCQ here in Austin, Texas. Well, it's round 12. This is the final round of Swiss. You make it, you make it. You don't make it, well, you still played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, if you wanted to play all those rounds of Swiss, you definitely got what you were waiting for. But again, only a few duelists are going to be advancing up, and we are likely going to be featuring a bubble match here because, again, if you don't know what the bubble is, remember, we only have a top 64, and there are more than 64 duelists left in the tournament. So there are certain duelists that if they win, they make it. But if they don't win, well, they are maybe not going to make it to that huge top cut we're about to have.
That's right, but let's toss it over to Kangas with our duelists.
And for our final Swiss stage feature match in the blue chair from Everett, Massachusetts, Sergio Hernandez. His favorite card is Chaos Goddess, and in his spare time, he's been a lifelong drummer. And in the red chair, his opposition from Stockton, Nevada, Adam Belarutsky. His favorite card is Gore's Emissary of Darkness, and for his job, he designs cleats for some of the top athletes in the world. Duelists are set, so let's send it back to the casters for duel number 1.
So our matchup here is a mirror match of Fiendsmith Snake Eye versus Fiendsmith Snake Eye. Now, Adam is a previous YCS champion.
So he is no stranger to the feature match stage, which means he is very familiar with this setting where, again, you got to win and end, and if you lose, well, that's okay. You will have to basically go through this round again. But here's the thing. We see that they're both playing the Snake Eye Fiendsmith deck, and we know how powerful that deck is and how popular it is, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to make it through the Swiss round 12 alive, right? So many duelists here showing off their skills with all kinds of different decks, and here, well, they're going to have to do whatever it takes to make it out if they want to make it to the top 64.
I mean, this is make it or break it moment, especially when this is already the first milestone. Making it to day 2. Day 2 is milestone 1. And then top 64, milestone 2. Top 4 is going to be your next milestone. I guess I believe people do get prize cards along the way in top 64, but there are different milestones even within that. But top 4 is definitely the big milestone to get that World's Invite.
Absolutely, and again, none of these duelists want to get even second place, but there's so many duelists and only so many prizes and trophies to award. So the thing is, you have to just have grit and determination and mettle to make sure you can make it through, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Adam just sort of nodding, feeling all right. Just no stranger to the featured match stage and ready to duel here, and Sergio smiling just as brightly.
It's a comfortable seat sometimes when you get used to it, And while they're shuffling up, getting ready, in a moment's notice, they're going to be rolling the die, determining who's going to go first, and we're going to see how that's going to play out. Now, Fiendsmith Snake Eye mirror match, something that both these duels have expected. They're going to expect to play against that matchup quite a bit because it is one of the favorite or most popular matchups that they're going to see. I mean, they're both playing it, so it has to be good at some point, right? We're going to see it at some point.
It's a popular card for a reason. Again, a mirror match can be difficult, right? Sometimes it's luck of the draw, but sometimes it's, you get inside your opponent's head. Maybe you make a move they wouldn't expect and like, oh, I would never do that. Well, I guess I'll have to respond to it somehow.
Exactly. I mean, if you can surprise your opponent with something that is, less common, it'd be good. Is it less common but better? That's the other question. If it's like something that you've explored and realized, oh, I know where this is going. That's the nature of a mirror match because you know the deck, you know your opponent's deck, but do you know your deck as well as your opponent?
Kind of like a subject matter quiz on Fiendsmith Snake Eye here. Both these duels obviously experts to get this far into the tournament. But we shall see who makes it to the top 64 after this. It's been an incredible day of dueling again because, everybody traveled here so long. You're right about how long the road to Worlds is. Whether you qualify from the regional championships or the last chance qualifiers, you do have to hit all these milestones. And speaking of milestones, it's time for game 1 of our final Swiss round here.
Good sportsmanship. Let's fist bump and roll the die. We got a 7 on Adam's side. Sergio got, I can't see, is it Snake Eyes? Oh, it's a 7. It's a 7 to 7. Now we have a 9. Well, that one's definitely not going to beat the 9 already. So 9 to the 4, and Adam has the choice to choose if he wants to go first or not.
It's kind of funny. Even the dice roll was a mirror match.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I like that there's a trap card, available. I believe that is the Black Goat Laughs.
I think so.
We're going to start off with the Fiendsmith Engraver. Will we see Adam play it differently? So far, most of the people playing the Fiendsmith package has been weaving it in and out because it's a great resource card, great way to end your field, and you can always hold back on it where you got to start off with the Fiendsmith Tract activated now, and that is going to be good.
Doesn't seem like there are at least any responses that Sergio can make, at least at this time.
And that's going to add the Fabled Lurie. The discard, it has to happen. That's going to discard the Lurie. Lurie, mandatory effect. Activate in the graveyard, summon out onto field. That is immediately going to be linked away into a link 1 of Fiendsmith's Requiem. That is good.
I think I can see maybe 2 copies of Ghost Mourner and something else there in the hand of Sergio, so maybe just hold on. Does seem like there is an Ash Blossom and Joy Spring that he's been holding on to as well.
Interacting with this deck is very difficult. Since the plays are so interweavable, like, oh, we're just going to leave into the Fiendsmith now, we're just going to do something else, or we're going to continue down the line. But most people, from what we've seen, they just start making different kinds of plays. And now we're going to use the equipping of Fiendsmith Requiem, and I think we're paying a cost here. Or not paying a cost, but rather we're just summoning out. Well, we are paying a cost now. That's going to be the Oak, and that's going to be met with the Ash. Ooh, but that telegraphs quite a lot, because that's not Poplar, that's not Ash, that's an Oak summon. Kind of reveals a little bit about your hand, but we're going to continue to try to push through right now, and we're going to take 2 of our Fiendsmith monsters.
The Ash Blossom held on, gave a little bit of confidence for Adam to push further into the combo, but was hit there at the right time.
And that's going to be Fiendsmith Sequence. Sequence can definitely generate more cards, but that's going to be met with a different card. That's going to be Ghost Mourner, Moonlit Chill.
Important to note that there may be some effect damage in the future there as well.
These are quite pivotal moments, because Sequence generates more monsters by performing that fusion summon, and you eventually could lead into the Promethean Princess. But even if it does, we still lost the effect of Oak's effect to summon a Snake Eye from the deck. Ooh. So now we have Bestial Magnamut, activate, banishing the Fiendsmith Engraver, summoning itself out onto the field. So
Well, luckily for Adam, there is another one in the graveyard there, so we're going to go ahead and link off.
Adam's trying to extend as far as he can, but those 2 hand disruptions, I think it's very, very powerful here. And, ooh, we're going into the SP Little Knight directly, and that is going to be a bit of damage, because that was a Ghost Mourner.
So 1,200 off the top, certainly a number we're familiar with seeing in first turn Fiendsmith combos, but not necessarily in this direction.
So we're going to be banishing the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. I mean, it could come up as a resource card. You could put it to the back from Poplar, in case you want to keep Poplar in the graveyard to keep the level 1s intact in the graveyard. But getting rid of it, it's still a play just for contingency's sake.
Certainly a lot of different things that could grab that Ash Blossom out of the graveyard here, but it looks like at the end we're searching for Bestial Druisworm off the Bestial Magnamut, and that's going to be a pass. Going back over to Sergio.
Okay, so we have SP Little Knight. Ooh, this interaction is a little bit limited at the moment from what we see. We have 2 set cards and the banishing effect of SP Little Knight. Starting off with his own Fiendsmith Engraver, Sergio. And it will be successful. We are entering Resolution, and we're going to be adding Fiendsmith Tract. It is going to be tracked. There are multiple Fiendsmith cards. We just don't want to make the assumption it could maybe be the token generator.
Hey, these duelists are up here for a reason. They have shown us so many surprises over the course of the weekend, but right now we are just going for the reliable Fabled Lurie off the Fiendsmith Tract.
It's such a powerful play. It is such a powerful play. It feels like emergency teleport.
It is good, but hey, emergency teleport's good too.
Okay, now Lurie has been summoned onto the field through its own effect and by being discarded. Link 1. I mean, these plays here line up pretty well against the SP Little Knight. There's just no monsters on the field half the time, and with no monsters on the field, SP Little Knight can't activate.
And she's not very effective there against the Fiendsmith Requiem due to its quick effect, because the Black Goat Labs.
Ooh. Lock it. Depends on what the monster we're calling, but that monster cannot be summoned, I believe, unless it's from the graveyard. Well, the first we are going to get the summon, I think. We're putting back the engraver, and you can still summon it onto the field. It just can't come out of the deck.
Certainly slowed down Fiendsmith Requiem's effect, but doesn't mean Fiendsmith Engraver is locked out of the field. Just how it gets to the field is limited.
Now that Black Goat Laugh still has a second effect in the graveyard, but you know, you only get one effect once per turn. We're gonna enter battle phase.
Ooh.
I mean, this is interesting. This is very different. This is not, you know, both people coming out of the gate just swinging super hard. They are kind of, you know, testing the waters on both sides. We didn't get a maximum board develop on either side, and SP Little Knight being destroyed by battle did not get the maximum value. Only banished an Ash Blossom. Effectively, not too much done, and now we're going to go into the bonfire. Well, I guess we minimized the stuff on the field, and we also burned away the Black Goat Laughs.
Sergio did have to go ahead and get rid of that SP Little Knight, maybe thinking, I don't want to put anything on the board yet, with the ability for it to be banished by SP Little Knight until the end of the turn. But it did eat up the battle phase.
This is incredible for Sergio. Sergio's starting to open up the Snake Eye lines here. We have the Snake Eye Ash being added, summoned, and now we got the Poplar added and summoned, and the Divine Temple has been activated, and this is going uncontested.
Certainly limited cards on Adam's side, or he may be holding off on interactions, much as Sergio did during his first turn. It looks like we are seeing the Snake Eyes at Diabellstar hit the spell and trap zone.
Here's an interesting thing. Black Goat Laughs, I'm not sure if it's going to be doing too much here, even if we continue on. Because most of the interaction that Fiendsmith has are going to be coming from the graveyard, and I think we're not locked out of the graveyard summon for our engravers.
Let's see what we've got coming up next as we send Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eyes Diabellstar to the graveyard using Ash's effect. Going to go ahead and bring out the Flamberge Dragon.
This is main phase 2. We did attack over the SP Little Knight, so this is mainly for board development.
Sometimes establishing a powerful board, you don't need a battle phase. Your opponent just can't do anything and may concede.
Oh, that's a very big part of Yu-Gi-Oh, actually, unless you're Tenpai.
Well, you got to make sure to use your time well. I will say, if it was a Tenpai mirror match, this might be a very short duel.
Sergio being very careful, considering all options. Remember, everything can be a resource. Hand, deck, graveyard, banish, extra deck,
A lot
everything.
of resources.
And we're going to be summoning into Hita, the Charmer Blaze.
Might have been the purpose of banishing the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, maybe seeing into the future that Hita might have shown up, but obviously with the additional fire monsters, there's a lot of great choices right now.
So, Flamberge is going to successfully resolve and summon out Poplar and Ash. And the Poplar is going to activate and put the Snake Eyes Diabellstar back into the spell and trap zone.
I don't imagine it'll stay there for long with a powerful effect like it has. Sergio taking a quick look at the graveyard before he decides what to do next.
I wonder if he's going to wait till the Poplar's back in the grave before, you know, summoning onto the field and putting the Poplar into the spell and trap zone. I think that's perhaps a cool line, whether we've seen a lot of players do. But now we got the Snake Eye Oak being summoned through the Hita. Wow.
Thanks, friend.
Don't forget, we share graveyards when it comes to this mirror match. Those Charmers, you know, we build a little bridge into your graveyard and, you know, just fish out one of your monsters.
Talked about our turn, our banishment, now it's our graveyard.
Ooh.
Not sure what he wants to do here. Seems to think about linking off the Hita and the Snake Eye Oak.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Oh, it seems like we are pushing out the Flamberge into the spell and trap zone instead. And now we're performing a link summon. We're looking into the extra deck, and that's going to summon out into, Celine.
Makes a little more sense. You don't see Flamberge Dragon in the spell and trap zone every day.
There's more than enough to get 3+ counters on Celine. That means a spellcaster can be summoned into that era. We do have Snake Eye Diabellstar as the spellcaster. With a field of 6 monsters, you know, the sky's the limit on the type of fields you can develop.
It looks like we're going into our next monster here in